What's going on, YouTube world? Welcome to an episode of Geek Babble, which we have not done in a long time, but a short little indie film was released this weekend, and we had the chance to check it out, and everybody, like my grandmothers did. I'm talking, of course, about Zack Snyders Justice League, and we're going to talk about it. So I have an incredible crew here, minus one guy who may show up in a few minutes. We'll see. But to my right, I got... what does it say, Nick? I got Nick, Mike. What's going on, man?
What's up, bro?
Yo, so you were the first person I know who did watch Zack Snyders Justice League, and you texted me how much you loved it. I was like, don't fucking spoil it. So,
yeah.
You're excited to talk about it today?
Yeah, man. I was counting down the days. I mean, I'm more of a casual fan, so there may be some others that viewed it differently than how I view it. But, yeah, I'm excited to talk about it. Sweet.
Chris Crow, you were in San Diego when this thing dropped, but you managed to get home and watch it before we did this video.
Yep.
How you feel about talking about this behemoth of a movie?
I can't wait to talk about the Justice League movie I thought I was going to see 3 years ago. So, yeah, this is good. As a huge Superman fan, this was good. So, I'm excited.
All right. And down below him, we got Matt Garcia. Matt, I know you and Dave are actually probably the biggest comic guys I know. So how are you? Are you excited about talking about this movie? Did it meet your expectations?
It will be fun talking about this movie, and that's all I'm going to say for now.
Okay. All right. Kick it over to Dave Hampton then. Dave, notorious DC hater, but you texted me that you like this movie. So I want to... get your thoughts on it here.
Important distinction. DC movie hater. Like, I like DC Comics. I grew up on DC Comics, and that's why I hate the movies. And so, like Chris, I grew up as a huge Superman fan, and that's where most of my pet peeves come in this movie, because while the Superman action's spot on, I'll leave it at that. They nailed the Superman action. That's all they nailed about the character. And then, but I'm excited to talk about the second best comic book related thing that dropped last weekend.
Oh,
yeah. Well, we'll leave it at that.
Well, we will definitely dive into that excerpt there, because I disagree with you wholeheartedly. But
you can be wrong. That's
so
cool.
It was no, I'm right. You're wrong. But the so this movie, guys, obviously Zack Snyder's Justice League. Original cut of this movie was released in 2017. Zack Snyder stepped away from the production of this movie due to the death of his daughter, and Joss Whedon stepped in. We got the Justice League, as it's now dubbed, and it was a real piece of shit. And that's the whole mustache gate came in with Superman. That movie, just across the board, did not work for anybody. And Zack Snyder was given the opportunity to, take his footage and recut it into this movie on HBO Max. 4 hours long. It's a long movie. There's a lot of stuff in here, so we are going to go chapter by chapter through this movie and talk about what we liked and what we didn't like. But first, we're going to get the overall thoughts. Everybody kind of already have done somewhat that. I love this movie. I'm a huge DC fan. I definitely understand that there are mistakes that have been made with these movies, and I am not in the major demographic of people who hate them, but I truly like this movie a lot. Not my favorite DCEU movie, but definitely right up there in the top 3 or 4, I'd say. Duggan, what was your impression of the movie?
Well, right off the bat, I thought I like the way they filmed it. I mean, 4:3, I think you're right. Is that what how he's filmed it? So yeah. I love that, especially because just on at-home TV. I feel like it was just visually pleasing. I don't know why. Just it felt good. I don't know. And then I didn't mind the time, 4 hours. I mean, I didn't really have anything to do anyway. So, like, I said to somebody that you could break it up, no problem. So, I mean, it was nice that there was a few, 6 or 7, I think, total chapters or whatever it was.
Yeah.
But other than that, I mean, I'm just, like I said, I don't really follow comic books a whole lot. I'm just as a casual viewer. It was to watch. I mean, it wasn't hard to understand if you kind of just walked into where you could follow where it was going. Other than that, I mean, the action scenes are fucking awesome. Batman is the coolest rich person. I think that's like the dopest quality, because even says to the Flash, he's like, "Oh, what's your superpower?" He goes, "Oh, I'm rich." And he's just a badass dude. He's got all the technology. Him and Alfred is running a gambit. I think that's probably them two working together is probably like one of the best parts of that movie. Like these dudes are just whooping ass for 20 years, and that was probably our big highlight. I like that. What else? The Flash was pretty funny. I like how they move into that backstory. And they also do that for the Cyborg too. But yeah, I mean, it was a funny movie. It was palatable. It wasn't too crazy, and I feel like that was the movie we should have saw back in 2017.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like the 4 hours kind of went by quick. I didn't do it. I did it all in one sitting, and I didn't find the time was that bad. I mean, I've watched the extended editions of Lord of the Rings and shit a lot, so I'm kind of in the bag for long movies if I have to. So it wasn't too bad for me. But Chris, what is your overall thought of this movie and where it hits you?
I really like this movie. I feel like if this came out, not at 4 hours, because there's no way. It doesn't bother me personally. I actually could have gone another 45 minutes with it if they wanted to, but because like you said, it didn't drag to me. It kept going, and maybe being broken up into parts kind of helped that. But yeah, I feel like if a version of this, not a shitty version, but a version of this, like a slightly cut down version of this was released in theaters, this could have been a pretty good contender with Avengers, which is what they were trying to do in the first place. But so I really loved it. I'm just happy that they had a better Superman depiction in this one versus the
Mustache Gate.
Right, exactly. Like, I'm just happy that they fixed that. Like, everything about Superman in the Justice version was like, oh god, and it was just, I don't know, like just the things he would say, like at the end when he's like, "Oh, I wish I was dead," or what. Like, it was just stupid comedy, stupid Josh Whedon comedy. So I'm just glad it had some edge to it. I know it's a little dark, but I loved Wonder Woman in this. Like, we'll get to it, but she just fucking straight up kills people.
Overall, you liked it. And that's what's important. Like the two on the bottom here who probably didn't know. Yes. So let me, before we get to you guys' opinion, I'm going to add this guy in who just came in fashionably late, like usual.
Yo, this
Eric Nelson.
this website is like my fucking arch nemesis. It doesn't fucking work for me, fucking on any fucking device. Doesn't matter which device I fucking try to log into. It does not fucking work.
I'm probably going to say fucking.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
I don't know if we gotta adjust that camera so you're in the screen too. You're hiding behind the logo.
Well, try not to fucking devastate you guys with the fucking fan light. I know how much you fucking love it.
Jesus Christ, you're gonna give us seizures.
That's what I'm trying not to do.
All right, we'll get your opinion on Justice League in a second. Matt had to step out, so I'm going to hit Dave. Dave, obviously, we've already announced that you are not the biggest fan of the DCEU or DC films. So, what are your overall thoughts of Justice League?
Well, sorry, Chris, I was going to say this, but you already said it backstage, but I couldn't agree more. This is the best Injustice movie I could have asked for. It really is that. Like, that's my feeling on it. It's like Zack Snyder played this game while he was eating pot brownies and then wrote the script. And that's literally, if I look at the whole Man of Steel, BVS, and Justice League trilogy and through that lens, I'm actually pretty happy because it's a good Injustice movie. I don't think he understands who these characters actually are in the comic book world though. And the depiction of them all just speaks to that. Bruce Wayne being more Tony Starkish with just shittier tech. Is a perfect example of that.
Dude, that's every Batman story. That is Batman.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm just saying, the whole "I'm rich" quip. That's not Bruce Wayne. Bruce Wayne would he doesn't make jokes. So that's all. And I just I don't know. There's things about it I liked. I did think this was far superior to the Justice League. It's like he took a steaming pile of turd out of Age of Ultron and was like, can I match this? Can I beat it? And then he recut up Zack Snyder's movie and gave us the Justice League. So like, you know, I will say Zack Snyder is redeemed a little bit as the character. So some of the character development actually pays off, which is like the first time I've ever said that about any Zack Snyder movie. So that shocked me. But I think at 4 hours, it was just too long. Too many scenes that are just drawn out. Random, like the random scene of like the Nordic girl singing on the beach for no fucking reason that dragged on. For
I
like
was wondering what the fuck that was.
And
Well,
ever.
That's
I
culture,
thought,
okay? Cultured learner.
yeah, I thought Aragorn was going to ride out to stop the shadows of Mordor at some point after that. That was just like, what the fuck is this? What am I watching?
Well, Zack Snyder definitely treats these characters like they're gods, which is what they are, basically. So you got to assume this culture in and I agree. I think that is ridiculous. I think maybe you could have just had them all on the beach, like bowing or whatever to him for like helping them with the fish and shit, and it would have served way better than the song for like a minute and a half. But
What do you want to just be like, bye, see ya?
But like, how many sad scenes of the rain did we get at Superman's grave? Like before, like he comes back to life. Like just shit like that was starting to bug me over time.
You didn't like Lois's story in this movie?
I did like though that they broke it up into parts. That was actually, you want to get into something else that's funny is like I love that Bruce Wayne like bails out and pays for Clark's funeral in the last movie, only to let Martha Kent lose her fucking house in this movie, only to buy it back at the end. He's very much a "what did you do for me lately" guy, huh?
Yeah, well, he's
That's
busy.
not his responsibility to pay for that house.
Only when Superman's alive to kick his ass it is, apparently.
Yeah.
Hey, he's
That's how
the
the movie
ends.
ends.
All right, Matt. I'm very interested to see where you fall. Just your overall thought of this movie, because you were very vague in your earlier description.
Right. So I've always been like a big DC fan. I love these characters. I like this movie. I didn't love it as much as you guys did, unfortunately. I think it's great that Zack Snyder was able to get his vision out after everything that happened 4 years ago. But I do think there are moments in this film that are very epic in scale, and there are scenes that like I feel as if aren't needed in this movie because they at that time they were trying to do other solo films of these characters, and I'll just say including Cyborg's origin story increases the length of the movie a bit, but it would have been interesting to see that in a solo film, but we'll get to there.
Yeah.
I think the Aquaman scenes kind of really rang out that way to me. Like all those Aquaman scenes after the Aquaman movie was dropped, I'm like, why are we doing this in this movie? Like, there's no need for this at this point.
So these scenes were, for the most part, all shot prior to the Aquaman movie. That's why. That's why it is jarring. I agree with you. Aquaman, his scenes specifically, like kind of like take me out of it a little bit, because I'm like, well, we've already established better versions of like how Atlanteans talk. We've already established like. I mean, don't get me started on Amber Heard. She's literally like, I have 5 major complaints about this movie, and Amber Heard using that awful accent.
I was just gonna say,
she's
that was
right
my
near the top.
in this one.
That's like my favorite part.
Yeah, so it's a that's there are definitely things that, again, this is you have to know, and maybe viewers don't know, but people have to know before they watch it that like these scenes were filmed before Aquaman got a solo movie. And
that's
so
fine.
That makes it hard. That makes it a little difficult. Like, I agree. It's hard for me to connect with the Aquaman story specifically because I think that his solo movie delivered his backstory and everything so much better and improved his world.
I guess my point is just should have left those out of the new movie, out of his cut. Like at this point, like why put them into the movie? Like
because he had the footage.
That's right.
Right. That's exactly how I felt about it too, Matt. He had the footage, so he had to put it in there.
Well, that's what they told him. He said, "Whatever you have, we're going to use." So he's like, "Fuck it, here you go." But yeah, but
yeah,
now,
overall, I'd say. Sorry. I'll
no,
just
no,
say,
good. No, finish.
This, like, to me, like this is a fine movie. There are these grand epic moments. And it's kind of like for me, it's on a scale of the 2017 version, just because of the length. The length does make it feel very long, and whereas you can see why Warner Brothers was like, we need you to get this down in 2 hours, because that's where they wanted it to be. But obviously, everything happened the way it happened.
Yeah, I think that was the biggest. I mean, honestly, aside from whatever Joss did to try and like reshoot stuff, trying to cram this story into 2 hours doesn't work. Like they should have learned from what they did with BBS, where they were like, we're cutting out a lot of like the backstory. Not the BBS, the extended cut's even really that much better, but it's definitely a more coherent story, and it's like that's like 3 hours long. You could have at least tried to shoot for that, but I understand what they were trying to do, I guess. But
at 3 hours, this is a better movie.
Right.
I have no doubt in my mind.
Oh, you could definitely shave. You could definitely shave a lot of scenes out of this new movie, but
you could like, I would even say like probably 2:45. This would probably been probably perfect.
Right.
Like Nordic bitches singing on the beach. I don't need that shit in my movie. Get it out.
Well, maybe in order to use that location for filming, they had to include the townsfolk singing one of their songs.
I mean, if he wanted to like play that music while he like zoomed in on Jason Momoa's nipples, like he seemed keen on doing there, then go for it. But like, I just didn't need that scene where like we're watching this horseface girl sing for hours.
It was Jewel. Anyways, Nelly, what are your thoughts on Zack Snyder's Justice League?
Thought Deadpool was cool at the end.
That's the takeaway you have, Deadpool?
I think that they should have made this like the way that it is on like HBO, made it into like a 4-part thing. Like, so it should have been broken up into like 4-hour-long things, so you could not have to fucking sit there for 4 fucking strenuous fucking hours and try to watch this entire thing in one sitting. So it should be broken up into like a 4-part miniseries.
Like 7 parts.
Yeah, I figured in 4 hours, fucking an hour a piece.
It was supposed to be 2 movies originally.
I agree with Nelly saying. If you had it as like 4 episodes of like the same thing, so you could stream it all the way through if you wanted to, but you had 4 episodes to walk in and out of. Right. That would have made it more manageable.
So you know where to stop, where to start, like, because you start a 4-hour movie, you don't know where to fucking start and stop. At least if it gives you like the guidance, be like, all right, you're gonna stop at this portion. This is where the next chapter is gonna pick up. Like, give you a little bit of a break.
Well, I think that's why they put the parts in there the way that they did, because they assume some people aren't going to view it as one movie. So they're like, well, if you remember what part you left off on, you can at least get to there, and because it'll give you the it's not a cryon. What the hell's it called? Just like the switch to the black screen with the description of the parts.
Didn't they have bookmarks on the streaming bar too? Like, so it
they did.
Yes,
they did.
Streaming bar. So I liked that they did that. So like, you could actually fast forward to a part, but I didn't like that you had to remember it, which is why I think if they just cut it into like part 1 and 2 is this, part 3 and 4 is this, and then skip. 4, so you could skip credits or just leave the credits for the last part. But
right,
I think the big thing with the whole breaking up into parts like a miniseries thing was like there's contract stuff that they're not allowed to do because like you have to pay people more money and stuff like that.
Right. They were going to have to pay the actors as if they made like 6 individual shows when they didn't.
Or like also like I think crew stuff as well. Mm-hmm. So it just would have been a mess if they did it that way. They would have had to put even more money into this movie.
They're already getting sued out the ass by Cyborg too. So
yeah. But I understand why. But
what about, isn't this like after the fact though? Isn't the movie already made? So you're just taking the movie that was made and then?
No, they had to put an extra $70 million into this movie.
Yep.
To like get it, because it was all like raw footage and stuff. It wasn't fully done.
Right. None of the special effects for like Steppenwolf or anything were done, so they had to like really cut it in. But
that's
every time I see Steppenwolf, all I think of is the fucking whatever that monster thing is from the first Thor movie. I was like, he looks like that fucking steel thing, whatever it is.
Oh, the Destroyer.
The Destroyer armor.
Yeah, the armor is kind of like similar, I guess. But we're not going to talk about the Marvel Cinematic Universe today, Nelly.
No, that's crazy.
Yeah. All right, so we're going to dive into this movie by the parts that they have. So the first part 1, obviously, is Don't Count on It, Batman. This film opens with the death of Superman, which awakens the mother boxes. Batman tries recruiting Aquaman, doesn't do it so well. Steppenwolf attacks Themyscira, and I think Diana's mother sends the warning arrow at the end of that chapter, but that might be the beginning of the next one. But so this... Obviously, I love the opening of this movie. I thought one gripe I have I don't know, like every time you saw the fucking Superman scream, it was like, ah,
Yeah.
like
It
that
was
effect.
like the longest
I feel like-
orgasm.
Yeah, I feel like you needed to have that for like maybe the first couple, and then just continue to show the like ripple in the air. People would have
That's
got
because
it.
he was so powerful, Kevin.
I know, I get it, but I'm just that's one little gripe I had. I was like, after you see what it is, like all you need to show is that wave hitting the mother boxes. You know,
You didn't like that noise stretching out for 5 more minutes?
I do. I will say I do enjoy the Wonder Woman like action sequence, fucking music, whatever you want to describe that as.
Nelly, that's one of my least favorite parts of this movie.
I love
feel like
that.
No. I love her theme song from whenever that kicks in. But the leading
fucking
into all her
cello?
theme songs it's just like oh
Yeah.
No, not that. I'm talking about the actual music. Like,
yeah, but every single time that she was gonna get ready to do something cool, that kicked on. I was like, God damn it, this fucking singing needs to stop. But
They telegraphed it.
But yeah, the opening of this movie, guys. What did you? Just jump in when you want. But what did you guys think of that first chapter of this movie?
So the Steppenwolf reveal, I'll go with that. The Steppenwolf reveal, to see him not look like I'm trying to think of the right words for it, but like an ogre from the Lord of the Rings with like stupid ass horns and shit like that, and actually look like a realized bad guy of some sort that I actually had like believed in, and not just some guy with a bad facial hair. I thought that actually helped out with the movie overall, just having him carry the movie as much as he did, even in the Justice version, right? Like he's a very prominent character, and it just, every time he's in that first cut, I just like turn this shit off. I can't look at this fucking guy. And so the fact that they took him to the drawing board and gave us something that actually looks pretty damn cool, in comparison, right? They didn't have it's not like it's like they were racing a Honda. You didn't have to get much higher than where they were. But that was good. The Steppenwolf reveal was good. I liked that.
Yeah, he was
Isn't the first part it's just the opening of like Superman dying, then the awakening, and then like you see Bruce just walking across Iceland?
Yes.
That's like the whole first part, right? It's only 9 minutes long, right?
Yeah. It definitely just cuts right to there. So I agree. That jump, I was a little maybe you could have used one more extra scene just before he is in Iceland.
Yeah.
But yeah, his interaction with Arthur Curry was definitely different than it was at in Justice League. Like there was no fucking painting of the mother boxes on the wall behind Aquaman holding them up, like which doesn't even make sense. Like that didn't happen.
Like I guess
the whole scene's unnecessary though.
Yeah, like he already knows that he's Aquaman from BVS.
Yeah.
So it's just like why are you playing Bruce, why are you playing this game with this whole town when you could just talk to this guy and be like, I know who you are. I need your help.
Aquaman doesn't have a cell phone?
No. He doesn't.
No, because he's always in the
water.
water.
He can only talk to fish. He doesn't have an Autobox?
Yeah, exactly.
But it's the beginning is so much better than Batman blowing up a parademon only for the mother boxes to be in the
singed
blood
on the wall.
in the blood splatter on the wall.
Yeah.
Like that, because they sense fear. Like that whole thing was dropped. But like, that beginning. No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, it seemed like Warner Brothers was just like, you need to get the mother boxes in here earlier.
And that's what it was. Josh Whedon was just like, well, yeah, just put him on. Batman's a detective. Put the clue on the fucking wall.
So it makes him like they've been, because like he has that like dialogue with Alfred in the original where he's just like, oh, we've been seeing all these square symbols throughout history or whatever. So like there has been like doing some detective work at least.
Yeah, it was pretty fucking shitty, the original intro. And then obviously Steppenwolf attacks Themyscira, and that's really where the action picks up in this movie. You could tell that it's definitely different. I mean, I didn't understand why they were going with the R rating in this movie, but I guess these like women are getting sliced in half and there's fucking blood everywhere, and it was pretty bloody. And like, admittedly, you don't need it in the theaters. You don't need it that aggressive, but I definitely appreciate it on HBO Max to be able to see that level of violence. I thought that it was very, very much like the Amazons were treated like characters from 300, which I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah.
To be able to kind of see that. Except for the little on the nose, and they're like, "We have no fear." Like that was just that was a little.
It was basically his mini 300 sequel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was badass. It was still badass, you know. It made after watching Wonder Woman 84, it was nice to see like Amazons and Wonder Woman treated like actual warriors and not just like.
Yes.
You don't want to talk about that movie. That was
No, I know, but I'm just saying, like they've done her in Injustice, in not having her be as badass as she was introduced in BVS as, you know. So,
right, she is that character in this, and that's awesome because she was my favorite part of BVS.
It's the only redeeming part of BVS, in my opinion, is the Wonder Woman scenes.
Duggan, did you like the shit that was going down on Themyscira?
Yeah, I mean, I like the fight scenes, and I thought the way they presented the box was filmed a little differently. I like that, and you know, I thought it was pretty crazy that their whole like sanctum fell in the ocean. That was pretty wild.
Yeah.
Too.
That was pretty cool.
Originally, when I saw like the previews for the movie, when I saw it falling, I didn't know what it was. So for some reason, I thought it was like the Fortress of Solitude. I was like, "Oh shit, Superman is going in the ocean."
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it was cool. I really liked the beginning though. I really liked the whole fucking Batman and Aquaman scene. I found that very entertaining. I just like that the fucking back talking and him thinking that he doesn't know what he's talking about, and Bruce Wayne clearly knows what he's talking about, and he goes in there just flashing money like he is like a boss. He's like, "Oh, I'll give you 25 grand. Let's just go outside." Like no big deal. Like I just got it.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't care for the Superman O death going for as long as it did, but I'm happy they got the mother boxes in there faster. So like that just. And maybe part of the reason why I didn't care for that is because it reminded me to go back and watch BVS, and then I did it today, and that movie is so bad it is just unwatchable.
Did you guys love the 15-minute scene of her taking the arrow out and lighting it and firing it?
Oh yeah.
Because the one for Diana, because it literally
you have to
went
find
on
the
and
trajectory.
on.
So many of the scenes, but yeah, it's another good example of where it's just like, why is this not over? Just shoot a fucking arrow.
They put it on the ground. They open it up. They take it out of the thing. Give it to her. She picks it up. She does this.
Yeah.
I would be great if there was a scene where she like shoots it and she goes, "Oh fuck, I shot that in the wrong direction." She's that way.
Then they got to go back downstairs, get another case, and then go back up the stairs.
Get me the backup arrow.
Yeah.
It would have been cool. It would have been cool if they did that in rapid fire, like dun dun fire, and you just see the arrow go, and then they just say that they say the line like men won't know what it means, and she just goes, "She will," and that's it. That's all you had to do. Like it would have been perfect.
Yeah, you're right. Nelly, what'd you think of the chase scene where Steppenwolf's chasing after the Amazonians? They're passing the box back and forth. It was in the 2017 cut, but I feel like it was like much fucking better this time through.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Dynamite input.
I agree.
I've never
liked
seen somebody slay so many bitches.
Literally.
It was longer. It was longer and more fleshed out. Even the whole battle. I think it was like an extra 6 or 7 minutes longer or something.
I like that he's got like the arrows in him, and he's just like like it's just so like at first I thought the armor was gonna get to me because the way that it kept moving and shit. But honestly, I didn't even really notice it from that point on in the movie until it was like retracting and stuff when he was, eventually talking to Darkseid and whatnot. So
spoilers.
Yeah, spoilers for spoilers for part 4 or whatever.
I wish I watched the action from the first one again because I couldn't bring myself to rewatch the Justice League. Just compare if the action sequences are the same and just his CGI makes the fights look that much more brutal that they're actually like, oh, this is a good fight now. Because I don't remember feeling that way about the Justice League at all.
Well, you know, there's a lot of cutaways in the Justice League. Like you'll see him like step up to say a line, and then like a set of action will happen, but it will just cut. Like whereas in the new version, like they stay with him, and like he's got a lot more dialogue, and like there's like a lot more brutality to him, like attacking people and shit, and like the Justice League literally cuts to like all of a sudden he's getting a fucking heat blast from Superman like later in the movie, you know, but. I don't know, I've gone back and watched a couple comparison videos that have thrown on the internet, and it's jarring.
Dude, every Josh Whedon shot scene looks like the CW. Every single one. It's terrible.
It is terrible. All right, that's going to take us out of part 1 and then on to part 2, The Age of Heroes. This is where Diana goes all Tomb Raider and drops down into the tomb to get the backstory on what's going on. You get the dark side history lesson. Yep. Barry saves Iris. Barry gets his backstory, saving Iris West. Victor gets his backstory. Bruce recruits Barry. Diana meets Victor. Steppenwolf discovers the Atlantean Mother Box's location. I believe that is all that happens in that section. But what did you guys think of the second part here? Introductions of the Flash and Cyborg, basically, are the standouts. And a history lesson.
The best parts of this movie are those two being fleshed out like they were. I actually gave a shit about Cyborg this time, and no, go ahead. I
was just gonna say, like, I feel like the Flash isn't as fleshed out as Cyborg, just because we don't know how he got his powers. He already has them, and they don't explain how he gets them, because if you know the comics, you know that he's a forensic scientist who gets struck by lightning. Mm-hmm. But in this, he's a college student.
Yeah.
And he's working menial jobs to pay for his college degree. So
I want to say they were keeping that part for his solo movie.
Right.
Definitely.
They actually say he gets a forensic job at the end of the movie, doesn't it?
Yeah.
He gets like a low. He gets a job at the forensic lab, but it's like he's like it's the lowest like job you can get.
He's the gopher.
But that's the job that gets him his powers in the comics. So it's kind of like retconning, like, oh, he's supposed to be a forensic scientist, so even though he already has his powers, we're going to give him the role that he had.
Oh, but isn't time relative to the Flash, though?
My thing with the Flash, though, like the Iris story, just added nothing to the movie. Like if you picked up his story with Bruce Wayne walking into his Flash cave there, then we would have had the exact same movie. We wouldn't have lost anything. And the scene was fun. I enjoyed it, but it was another one of those unnecessary scenes in the movie.
Also, if you don't know these characters, you don't know that's Iris.
Right.
Exactly.
Because they don't introduce her. He doesn't go like, "Oh, hey, I'm Barry," and she doesn't go, "Hey, I'm Iris."
Does she have a name tag? I feel like that's about as subtle as Zack Snyder would be. Hi, my name is Iris.
Yeah, again, it's for me. I just liked having anything with the Flash leading up to his introduction at the prison with his dad or whatever. I think that's the first scene in Justice League is him waiting in line in the prison. But the I don't know. I thought it was really cool, and I liked the way that I know obviously this is like classic Zack Snyder to have slow-mo, and I don't really know how else you really would have been able to portray Flash and keep the camera with him anyway. But that I love the turning, like breaking through the shoes, like as the friction and the glass just shattering and him going around it, and I loved all of it. The only thing is that fucking hot dog.
I was like, what are you doing with that thing?
I know that. But
he really got that for himself, but he had to give it to the dogs.
Like that scene would have worked. That particular, I like the whole scene worked for me, but the only thing that I would have changed if I were Zack Snyder was instead of like having that hot dog float like near her head, like he should have like after he as he like saved her and he got ready to speed off, like so that she couldn't see like who the fuck he was. Like there could have just been one more cut of him like flying by like the hot dog stand and then just being like, oh shit, let me just get that. Like even if he had to double back like in slow mo to grab one and then go back in to like feed the dogs or whatever. But that thing just like floating near her face. I'm like, what is he gonna do with this hot dog? Is he gonna like honestly my perverted mind? I'm like, he's gonna stick that in her mouth. Like,
That's what it looks like. It's so close to her.
That's
face.
what heroes do.
You know what? It even would have been.
That's what heroes do. Eat the hot
It even
dog.
would have been better. It would even would have been better if like it was just floating towards her face and it made him laugh and he just kind of like flicked it away. But like he literally just fucking steals it, and I'm like, what's he doing with that hot dog? But,
Can we talk about the fact that like he trips and falls on his ass so much in this fucking movie? It's insane. Like it counts like north of 5 where like, oh, the Flash is running. He's going to trip and fall into a wall again.
right. Yeah, he trips like, so I believe all the trip scenes are in, except for one, but all the trip scenes are in the Justice League. So those are at least Snyder cuts. Snyder cuts. But he does fall, but he's
Oh my, yeah.
I don't know. I think it added to it because I feel like if he was so good on his feet, like he would be like unstoppable throughout the movie, like any chance he got, you know? Because
it's too much. It's like I didn't pick up on that in the Justice League, but it's just too many times do they end his sequence with, "Oh, I tripped over my shoelaces. Shit. Oh, okay, Flash is out again." Right.
And so the Flash's powers in general, it's kind of, and I feel the same way about the CW show. Like they're very like, you should never be caught off guard from anything. Like the second somebody's like getting ready to punch you or something, like that impact, if it even hits you, like you should roll with your fucking speed and just be like totally safe. And that guy should be fucked up, you know? So like, it's an interesting thing with that power that like you have to have him in peril in some ways, but realistically there should be no peril. That is until the Superman scene again later, where Superman's like, "I fucking see you, you motherfucker."
I'm glad that was a Snyder thing because that was one of my favorite parts of the Justice League.
Right.
That whole scene was pretty good.
I agree. But yeah, so this works, and then the Victor stuff's pretty cool because he literally, I never even considered the fact that Cyborg he could literally hack the fucking like nuclear codes and just fucking unload on a country he doesn't want it if he wanted to. You know?
How good of a person and how strong-minded, even as mad and upset as he is with his life and everything, how strong-willed do you have to be not to just take advantage of everything you could possibly do?
But he did.
Oh yeah, but he helped out that family, so
he still took advantage regardless.
Well, he helped the family though. He didn't help himself. Like he could have I
love that.
You kind of see, like you see in the backstory, like he's a good guy. Like he hacked the school's computer system to help his friend out with her grades because her family was losing their house.
Right.
There's a lot of good stuff with him.
Yeah.
Like you can see why he's upset about everything.
Yeah. They literally cut out his entire story just so they could have him say "booyah" one time.
Yeah,
That's fucking crazy. But I really liked his story being added to it. It's just his design. I still don't love. I think they could have made it a little.
It's not the best. Like
it's a lot better. It's a lot better though than it was.
I don't know. It still kind of looks the same to me.
I think it's the same. Yeah.
Yeah. Like that's one thing that Joss Whedon did at the end of the movie that I liked in Justice League was the having him rearrange the armor so it looks more like rounded.
It's more the comic style.
Right.
And I also like the fact that, spoiler alert, his dad doesn't die in the Justice League one.
Yeah.
It's if they were to do this, if they had done the Cyborg movie, it would have meant that his father would still have been around. And he would have a supporting cast.
He gets fucked up. He gets fucked up in every movie he's in.
Dude, Joe Morton has a contract thing where he's got to be killed in some laboratory in every fucking.
He's got to be a scientist. I gotta die.
Yeah.
Oh man, I like that he didn't. It wasn't his death later in the. Okay, we're jumping around. I don't really care, but I like that his death wasn't like useless because when I saw that, I'm like, what the fuck's this idiot doing? Like, what is he even doing right now? And then like obviously like afterwards, you're like, oh, he superheated it, so we can trace this mother box later. Yeah. But he could
have did it outside the box as well.
Yeah,
he didn't have to be in the death cage.
Yeah.
Well, maybe he thought that plexiglass wall was going to protect him from Steppenwolf.
Yeah. I think I caught a mistake in that football scene that Victor was in when he was running for the winning touchdown. The field marker says 3rd down, but the scoreboard says 4th down. So I was like, motherfuckers.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, I watched it with, as everyone knows, my teammate Arthur as well. I watched this movie twice already. And he was just like, "Oh yeah, he dropped the football when he was in the end zone. So technically, he didn't get a touchdown."
I thought all you had to do was hit the pylon, and it was a touchdown.
I guess. Yeah.
But it was no, but it's
cross the plane. That's all you got to do.
Well, you know what's funny is because it shows it from 2 different angles. Like at one point, it shows it from the angle of the end zone, and he totally fucking drops it, and then it shows it from the angle where he's diving in, and he doesn't drop it. So there were a lot of Zack Snyder should never do a sports movie.
What, that really super long slow motion cut of him running for 30 minutes wasn't exciting for you?
No, I think it was. And then I think this scene, and I'll go to Nelly for this one. I think this is the part of the movie where Steppenwolf is interrogating the Atlantean people that he's dragging out of the ocean. That was later. Brutal. That was fucking brutal. When he hits that dude against that rock and the fucking blood splatter.
He was fucking flying.
Shit. I'm like, I could never watch this with my kids. Like, never.
I love how Mara. I think that Mara. I love how she she sucks the blood out of Steppenwolf's face when he's going the wall. Well, because she can manipulate all the liquid shit. So he's just. Like, I don't think that was in the. I don't remember that in the.
It wasn't. It wasn't in the original. She did not try to suck the blood out of his body, which is fucking crazy. To think that she could do that.
And even he was like, "Oh, what the fuck was that?"
Yeah.
So we were talking about this earlier, but I took some notes, and so you have to explain to me because I wrote it down as I was watching the movie, and this is verbatim. I said, "Why do Atlanteans need to form the air pocket when talking? They breathe underwater. Is it so it's not muffled?" And we talked about that. I'm like, it doesn't make any sense. Why the fuck we should be doing that anyways? And with a British accent.
So Zack Snyder, when he was filming this, he didn't know like how the best way that Atlanteans would talk, I guess. So he was like, we're going to create air pockets for it to happen, which apparently everybody can do because Volko does it later in the movie too, and he definitely does not have the ability to fuck. He's not water kinetic or whatever the hell that the power is called. Only Mara is.
Well, in Aquaman, we kind of see him create the shield with the trident when he's training Arthur.
That's true.
When he's younger, so like he does have a bit of that power.
That's true. I guess you're right.
It sounds like when they're underwater without the pocket, it sounds like they have their own language. That's not. I don't know if
Atlantean.
I don't know. Well, I don't know that it's grunting at each other.
Like sonar.
Yeah, but I feel like they have a way of talking without the bubble. But if they want to speak in English or whatever, they need the bubble to do so.
Well, that's why this is exactly why I bump into the Aquaman part of the story. So because the movie, they're just like, oh, we can talk underwater, I can all that stuff. But like Zack Snyder didn't do that, which he definitely should have, because that would have been, I guess maybe the actually film it would have been harder. But I feel like that's got to be.
They're not underwater when they're filming this movie.
No, I know that. But like.
But in Aquaman, they didn't have the airboat.
No, they didn't, because they can talk underwater in Aquaman.
I thought
they retconned that.
They have like an air bubble in the ship in Aquaman when they're like in the drowned ship, and like they're trying to find Vulko's telling them about the Atlan's trident. Yeah, like that's the only other time.
The air bubble thing I liked for the action. I like the action that the air bubbles created in that sequence. Yeah. And so like it actually made me not even think about the talking in the air bubbles. And I didn't even notice that the only time the air bubbles popped up was when people were talking. because he also weaved in and out of that fight sequence there. Yeah, I thought that was badass. That like after the blood sucking face thing, using the air bubble to make Steppenwolf just fall like fucking right through the air and bap, and I'm like, that was awesome. And so
I was gonna say, I'll defend it by saying it's a really cool visual instead of them just talking underwater. Like just it makes it a really interesting thing to see.
When Aquaman steps back out of the bubble and like the water kind of like comes around him, that was really cool visually to see that. But yeah, that was, again, the Aquaman stuff is really the stuff I bumped into the most. I think out of all the characters in this movie, he's the one that I like the least. But Superman doesn't have a lot to do either. But his story is the weakest. But I think it's because his solo movie is so flushed out and his world is so flushed out that I bump into his issues with him in this particular movie. Not the action set pieces. I think he is great. And he's good at fighting and everything. But I just I bump into his story a little bit in this movie.
I don't know. Aquaman does one of my favorite things in the movie though. At the end.
Oh yeah, we'll get there. We'll get there.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like in the movie he actually suffers the most from the Snyder cut. He becomes the least likable of the Justice League, hands down. Where in the Justice version, you actually think he's like one of the top 5, or top 3 that you liked in the movie. And it's just interesting to see that more screen time resulted into less likability and just even leave his movie aside, just his sequences aren't very strong.
Right.
And they're not interesting. And then he's kind of whiny up until the end there.
Right.
Well, yeah, he's not the king yet, so you got to remember he's still not developed. He's still a bitch. He's not even up on their level yet.
Yeah, but in the Justice version, he's more like the guy you see in the first scene, like just the cock of the walk who doesn't give a shit, and throughout the whole movie. And this, he's like just brooding for no reason for way too long.
You know what I like though, and it's not in this scene, but not in this part. But I did like that he's the only one out of the Justice League that like literally like after Victor loses his dad, he's like, how's he doing? Like, he's the only one who follows up. So it shows that he's not just that guy, not just the
I thought you didn't. I thought you didn't care. I never said that. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But so that I thought that was good. But again, more of that was needed in his story that we got. But
one part that was cut. Well, not cut, but from the Justice version is when Wonder Woman puts a lasso around him.
Oh, he sits on it.
Yeah, he sits on it. He sits on it. Yeah, that part was pretty funny. I kind of wish they had that in there, but
he's got a couple good moments. Like I know we'll get to it, but like when Flash like slams into him when they're fighting Superman, and then it just cuts back to him. He's just fucking pointing at him like you son of a...
he gives him the Family Guy monkey in the closet point.
Yeah, he does.
He's like, I like when Flash is like, oh, should I go with this one or that one? He's like, let me see the other one again.
That was good.
You're right. There are some comic moments with his character, so maybe he's better than I remember. I need to watch the full movie again.
Good luck trying to find time.
Yeah,
there was comedy in a Zack Snyder movie. No way.
You know what? I felt like the comedy, and this is the one thing to talk on. The Justice League comedy, I thought was awful. Like it didn't fit. It didn't fit along with the action sequences that he stole from Snyder. So
right.
I think the humor that Zack Snyder went with in this movie actually worked for his movie. Which I've never known him to write a comedic scene in his life. So,
well, I mean, 300 has some laughable moments in it. I mean,
I just
think it's more organic.
Like the guy getting kicked in the hole.
Yeah, to be honest, yes, that shit is funny as hell.
And he's like, we're gonna go talk to him. There's no reason we can't be There's no reason we can't be civilized. And then he's like, I agree. And then he fucking just stabs the guy and kill him on the floor. Yeah, there's moments, but that's like his humor. It's like dark.
Yeah.
That takes us to part 3, where
we haven't talked about the
flashback.
The flashback. We haven't talked about that. That's part of the Age of Heroes, isn't it?
You are right. That is why this chapter is the Age of Heroes. So obviously the flashback in the Justice League, it's Steppenwolf invading, and in this one, it's actually young Darkseid, or what the hell's his name? Comic
Uaxis.
Uaxis. Yes, there you go.
There you go.
So that it was cool to see that story fleshed out a little bit. I like that this is one of those things where almost too much information comes in at non-comic book guys, because they're talking about like the anti-life equation, which I've read in comics before, but like I was watching it with Scott, and Scott was like, "What the fuck is the anti-life equation?" And I was like, "He's like, aren't they after mother boxes?" I'm like, "Yeah, I think they're taking the story in another direction."
Yeah, that's like I think that's like one of the problems is like you first you have to get the audience to agree with mother boxes, and then you have to get the audience to go along with the anti-life equation, which doesn't even show up,
right?
Mind you, and
or does it?
Or does it? Or is it part of the ground that he sees and then totally forgets about until 5,000 years later when Steppenwolf sees it again in a vision in the exact same place where he was before? So he could have just came back and got it.
Right.
Yeah.
That is one of the so that's again one of the reshoots I would have done having known how this was going to pan out would have been like Darkseid's army or something, like, 'cause he explains like the old ways, right? Like taking the Armada place to place. They should have said that they came to Earth via the boom tubes, via the mother boxes, whatever. So they had no idea what planet they were on. That way, when they get knocked back through a portal or something like that, it makes sense that they don't know where the fuck this anti-life equation was, right? But him leaving in the ships, like what? But you don't have logs. You don't know where you were,
Right.
But yeah, it was interesting to see it. I thought the fight was still pretty cool. I liked seeing all the gods fighting. I liked that there was. I think
we see more of the original, some of the other characters as well. Like I think we see Ares for the
we do,
first time, and then we see like Wonder Woman's aunt who dies in Wonder Woman.
Yep.
Like I think she wasn't in the original theatrical cut.
So the monkey creature, Green Lantern.
Yeah,
I thought. Well, the Green Lantern is actually looking like badass, not like the friggin' Ryan Reynolds movie.
Yeah.
Yep.
It was a monkey.
And they lost a Green Lantern too, so that's gonna go on someone's finger.
Yeah.
I like that it shot by Darkseid's like, I'm gonna try to get it.
Yeah.
He got shot.
It's smart. I mean, that's that. It was been if he got that, it was probably game over in that battle. So.
Well,
Well,
it's cool that they delve into like the old gods versus the new gods in this one.
Right.
Yeah.
Like,
although it's just one god of the new gods that we see.
Yeah.
But it was cool to see Zeus a little more like pronounced, and I don't know, it was a really cool battle scene, and like that's the shit that Zack Snyder knows how to do. You know, that's why you go. I mean, like
the scale of that, just having like all the Atlanteans, the men, the Amazons, and the gods themselves, as well as one Green Lantern. It's pretty amazing to see. It's like very Lord of the Rings scale, that one scene.
Right. I liked it. And then obviously like some people are like, well, how did Darkseid even get hurt? You know, how did he get hurt by
he got fucking smoked.
Yeah. And like I guess there are comics that back it up, but like before he becomes Darkseid, really, he goes through like the changes. He doesn't have his Omega beams. He doesn't have, you know, any of his real strength that he had. I mean, he's still wicked powerful, but clearly that's what you have to infer from that. But again, that's again, I watched it with Scott, and he's like, how did they even fucking hurt him? Like, isn't he supposed to be like
well,
just
technically like Ares hurt him, so he is a god himself.
That's true. That's true. That's true.
Yeah, Ares and Zeus lit him up pretty hard, actually. Like really, those two. It's like Zeus lights him on fire with like lightning bolts, and then Ares like takes an axe and basically cuts him in half. So I mean, that kind of does it. I mean, it's on the screen. I get why they hurt him.
No, I know, but like,
but
I don't know.
Have to infer.
I feel like if Wonder Woman, who should be as powerful as the gods, tried to like cut Superman in half, like that sword would break. You know, so.
But the thing is,
that kind of happen.
The thing is, right? Like you have to like we're saying Ares and Zeus and throwing them around like it's obvious. These people, nobody gets named in that scene, so I can see how you would be watching like, who are these motherfuckers actually hurting them? I don't even know what's going on right now. I do see how that could be a challenge. But then don't they talk about the fact that like the gods weakened over time? And so Wonder Woman's a fraction of the power of Ares and Zeus in that moment.
That's true. They do call that out. I totally forgot about that. So you're right. You're right. So that makes a lot more sense.
Plus, I think Wonder Woman's technically like a demigod, so she's not full goddess status. So like she's lesser. power wise.
like Hercules style.
You
Yeah,
have the
Hercules,
blood
yeah.
of the old gods. That's what he says to him. So, yeah, all right. I love that scene. So I think we're all in agreement. I think we're all in
it's a great
agreement
scene.
that chapter worked well.
That's one of the best scenes in the movie, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then that takes us to part 3, which is Beloved Mother, Beloved Son. Terrible chapter name. But I believe that's where it opens up with Steppenwolf attacking the Atlantean outpost and stealing the mother box.
Yeah.
So that we already kind of talked about this scene, but again, it was pretty cool to see Aquaman. I keep saying the Aquaman scenes I bump into, but his movie, he moves so much more fluently through the water. You know, it's like Superman flying.
Well, you got to think this is before all that, so he doesn't know all the capabilities.
Yeah.
He's still
No,
fucking-
I know, but it's just it's where the different directors come in to do their own thing. It's imprinted in my brain. I can't get it out of there. Because I feel like he should be able to fly around Steppenwolf like nothing in the water. Like Steppenwolf maybe could be able to get like a quick hit in to like knock him back, but in that scene, like Aquaman should have been able to like whiz around that motherfucker and like really do some damage.
Yeah, and that's where his solo movie messes it up.
It's a
He's
continuity.
calling a fucking shark or something.
That's right. That's right. That would have been like, dude, if Steppenwolf hits him and then all of a sudden he goes like, and a fucking like a whale just like knocks Steppenwolf for like a mile, you know?
Well,
But
like a squid on his face.
I wanted to be that sound too.
That wouldn't happen in Zack Snyder movie.
No, it wouldn't. No,
That would be hilarious coming from Jason
He just rides a
Momoa.
dolphin.
Yeah, all I picture, it's funny, but because all I'm picturing is the Aquaman scene in Family Guy where he's like,
Yeah.
hey, leave that girl alone. And he's like in the water, but the guy's on the land. It's like, you should come over here and try that. And then you shouldn't have let him on. It's just like, oh, man. Yeah, so that scene was pretty cool. I believe this gets us to Commissioner Gordon hitting the bat signal, and, Barry already agrees to go with Batman, which is pretty cool, and they do the little battle underneath Gotham Harbor, which most of it was in the Justice League. You get a little bit more backstory. Steppenwolf is definitely like torturing the fucking the humans a little more, and you don't do the cutaway where like Victor saves his dad and then busts the fuck out of there. It doesn't help out at all, which is cool. And Flash, there's another good thing with Flash. He's not like afraid to do battle. Like I hated that aspect of the Justice League.
I like that aspect because it makes sense if he's a kid and he's still unsure of his powers, right? So because we don't he's like, how do I put this correctly? If he's just learning his abilities, he's usually a guy that just goes up against like petty criminals. He doesn't go up against aliens.
It's true.
So
It makes sense too from coming from somebody who keeps tripping over his own shoes while he's running.
Right.
And Batman does give him that good advice of saying like how if you save one person, you'll know what to do next.
Right. I'll agree that line by Joss Whedon was great in the original cut. Like just get in and save one person, and then you'll know what to do. Like that was great, and that was good Batman advice too. That was a good Batman line and a good Flash scene. Because you're right.
Because you see like Batman being the mentor that he was in the past as well with like Robin.
Right.
Because technically he's taking on this other kid. So
you're right. Okay. I guess I liked that he was using his powers to help people more. But you're right. That might be one scene that Joss Whedon did get better than Zack Snyder.
Although I will say Zack Snyder did have the cool scene with the Flash getting all the rubble away from the people when it was falling.
Oh yeah, that was fucking sick. Yeah. Just the quick jumps, so you can just kind of see him.
So a middle ground between the two versions would have been nice.
Yes,
right.
Yeah.
I guess we skipped. I feel like we skipped some stuff too, but we can probably get back to it.
Is this the scene with where we find out that Superman's mom loses her house?
Yeah, Superman's mom loses her house, and then we find out she goes to Metropolis to talk to Lois, and then if you don't know comics, you're confused why this green alien why Martha Kent turns into a green alien, then into the general from the other two movies.
Martha Man.
Yeah.
So that's one of my big gripes in this movie. I told you I have 5. I think you could have dropped the Martian Manhunter story entirely. I don't think you needed to be in this movie. What?
It should have been Green Lantern.
No, that whole. I mean, if you want to have Green Lantern show up in the movie or something, maybe write it in
just a little bit, a cameo.
Martian at the end. Honestly, if it was Green Lantern who showed up at the end and he was like,
it was supposed to be.
Yeah, but you're right because they were. But then they're doing their Green Lantern Corps show, so they HBO.
No, they're doing a movie too. Like so, He was like. Snyder was like, I want to use like Jon Stewart, and like Warner Bros was like, no, we're using Jon Stewart.
The thing about that with the Martian Manhunter is he's like makes him to be like such a bitch too, because he's like, oh, now that you actually won the fight, I'm here, and I'll be here for the next one.
Yeah. Why did you help Superman take out the fucking Kryptonians? You son of a bitch.
I was about to say the two things that bothered me about Martian Manhunter were it hit Martha Kent turning into Martian Manhunter ruined a really good scene between Martha Kent and
why he's compassionate and loving
and Lois. I don't know, just
but it's also kind of sick. It's also kind of sick to like walk in on Lois Lane and be like, "Hey," pretending to be
trying to help her move on with her life. He's being a real friend with that she doesn't have.
That's pretty fucked up. And I guarantee you, if Lois knew later in the movie, she'd be like, "Clark, go
won't hurt her.
Go kill this motherfucker because that is fucked up." That he was fucking with my emotions.
I'm surprised we didn't get like the Lois like Lane Bruce Wayne like romance in this fucking movie that Snyder tried to push so hard for in
Well, that was.
I mean, we saw the pregnancy test.
Yeah,
I was about to say, did you guys notice that in the fucking drawer? Because she opens the drawer and it's on there for like 5 seconds.
Yeah, no, they were supposed to be writing that in. That was supposed to be like
So
in fact, if I'm being honest, let me jump ahead a little bit. So when Martian Manhunter shows up at the end of the movie to talk to Batman, and you just
Batman
hear
should have been like, "Where the fuck were you?" Dude?
No. Hold on. When I first heard like the sound barrier break, I'm like, oh my god, Superman just found out that Lois is pregnant with Batman's kid, and he's coming to fuck him up. That's what I thought it was, and I was like, "This movie."
Lois Lane's the key.
I'm like, if this movie ends with like that being the reason that like Superman goes crazy, I'm like, that would be nuts. Like,
Jerry Springer walks out on the next episode.
He steps out there. He's like, oh hey, what's up, Clark? He's like, what's up? You bang my woman.
What's crazy is like I feel like Lois wouldn't have sex with the guy that tried to murder her boyfriend.
I agree.
Right.
Exactly. That's why I'm glad they dropped that storyline. Yeah,
it's a bad idea all around.
But,
all I can picture, Duffy, is when you said that, "Why'd you take my woman?" is like him having a mullet to go with the whole mustache skate. He shows up.
Well, hey, he's Black Suit Superman. He could have had a mullet. So, so that was. You're right. I totally glossed over Martian Manhunter. I meant to bring him up later because I hated his inclusion so much.
Yeah.
But
he looked cool though, at least.
The under thing. Yeah. It was pretty cool to have the underwater battle happen. Again, how Aquaman finds them, I think, is interesting. But whatever, that's a comic book movie. Fucking breeze right over that. I did like that when the water's rushing in, Aquaman is in the pipe, just letting the water flow over him a little bit, but he's not moving anymore. I'm like, well, he would have the ability to stand still in the water, wouldn't he? But that was pretty cool. But yeah, it was good. I thought the scene. I don't know if the scene necessarily was any better or worse than the Justice League one. I would say it was about even, that scene.
I guess the big thing is like Flash doesn't fall on top of Wonder Woman in this one.
Yeah, doesn't awkwardly jump away. Yeah. So that takes us to part 4, the Change Machine. Steppenwolf discovers the anti-life equation. I think Darkseid speaks. And the Justice League realized that Mother Box can bring Superman back to life, and they dig up his body. I believe all of that is in the Change Machine section.
Sounds like about right.
Yeah, I don't think there's any real action sequences in here. Obviously, the biggest takeaway for me from this was all of the scenes with Steppenwolf talking to Desaad and all of the Apocalypse stuff.
Yeah,
I loved it.
I had a question about that. When he's like, "Oh, you owe him for whatever for doing what wrong?" Like, what the fuck did he do wrong? Like,
They didn't say.
like
They didn't
say like they say in like I read on Wikipedia like they explain it as like he was part of some coup against Darkseid at one point, but like they don't explain that. So
No.
Yeah.
And
or someone just making up.
One of the iterations of it isn't that that Steppenwolf's sister, who would be Darkseid's mother, because he's his uncle, right? He's
his uncle. Yeah,
she's put in one of the mother boxes, right? Doesn't she power one of the mother boxes? And that is like,
I have no idea. Like the mother boxes in this movie, like don't match.
That's so literal. That's so literal.
Yeah,
I know.
They don't match what I know about the mother boxes in the comics.
Yeah, they make it like a technology.
So it's just like it's its own thing. So like who knows what they're trying to go with mother boxes.
All right. Yeah. So that was I assumed it was something to do with that, and they just don't touch on it. Like he did not like the fact that his nephew just like fucking sacrificed his sister for a mother box or something like that. And then
I think I think it's the part of like Darkseid somehow gets the power of like the Omega beams and stuff like that. Like he gets like whatever, I forget what it's called, but like he ends up becoming like the ruler of Apocalypse. Like that's I think might be the big thing.
The chrysalis, I believe, is what they call it when he becomes Darkseid. But yeah, so it was awesome seeing their interactions. Darkseid's super fucking imposing, and I don't know, I loved him. I thought that rock thing was really cool. It was like the best version of what's his face in Harry Potter, Sirius Black talking in the fire pit.
Yeah.
It was like the best version of that. But it was really cool. I liked it.
I like that Steppenwolf actually has an arc in this and isn't just bad guy. In Justice League, he was basically just bad guy shows up to make action happen. And he has, I mean, it's not a deep story, but it's at least a story.
You almost feel bad for him.
I kind of felt bad for him, yeah. You owe me 50,000 more worlds.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Right.
It at least gives a face to the Apocalypse, though. Like even if like Steppenwolf isn't super fleshed out, like it makes that Apocalypse threat fleshed out, and then he's just the current face of it. And so I mean I agree with what you're saying. There's like it gives that whole a backstory, and he gets to have a little bit of pressure put on him on why he's doing what he's doing. And so those whole things all get good. The only thing I don't like about this whole sequence is, and I know we had to do it because we have to bring Superman back into the movie, but everything about Superman's resurrection, just fucking throw it out. I hated all of it. Like none of it I like. I hate all of everything around it. Yeah. Even like the scene with the action of him fighting the Justice League is fun, but I still hate it. Like it doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel organic. Everything just feels so forced to make sure that we have Superman in this movie for the end fight scenes. And like I hate everything around it.
Yeah, that's like one of the biggest things with me was just like even during the original, just like you make a Justice League movie that involves them exhuming the corpse of Superman.
Right.
It's just so morbid, and you're just like, what is going on? You're like, you should never have killed him in the first place.
Yeah.
Well, it's my biggest pet peeve about just Snyder and his treatment of the character is like you have two really major important Superman stories just mashed into these other things where like the death of Superman with him fighting Doomsday should have been a standalone flick. Like pushing it into that BVS hot mess garbage thing is just awful. And then his resurrection story and like getting his senses back and refinding himself is like another good Superman story that could have been told on its own. And by making it as part of this like Justice League like tag in just so you can have Superman punching things at the end of the movie, it's just more Snyder doesn't really fucking know who Clark Kent is. He knows Superman. He gets punching things in the face with superpowers. He just never got the Clark Kent side of the character, and it's really just makes me not like any of his treatment of the character.
Like I feel like it would have been interesting if they went more with the comic where it's just like if like Superman had the Fortress of Solitude, like and like one of his robots took his body instead.
Yeah,
right.
Instead of making the Justice League dig him up, it's just weird.
Or if they dug him up and found it empty, they were like, "Where the fuck is he?" And
Like,
then
that would have been better. Like, or
that
like
goes
if-
down the path of like Batman doing
or
some
like-
detective work to figure it out, But
or
And
they
he's-
get there and like his body's like not even like his body's not in his coffin, but like his like
It was
his,
Martian
there's
Manhunter
already a
was in the
hole in
coffin.
Even, you know what though? No, you say that jokingly. That would have been better. Martian Manhunter took his body to the Fortress of Solitude and put him in the Yellow Sun machine. Like that would have been far better. Of like, how do we bring Superman back from the dead? Then let's take the Dark Mother box and electrocute him with flash lightning and hope it all works out. What the fuck?
yeah.
See, that's so funny how everyone views it differently because I thought it was fucking great because they tell us what they had to do. It was Batman feeling like a piece of shit for whooping that ass, and then he had to make up for it. So it was him just driving it home that he needed to get him back because he felt so guilty, and like that's the whole point of him making his whole team.
That's the one thing I agree with about that scene. I think that the impact of the decision to try and bring him back to life on every one of the Justice League members is different. Like Batman's blindly like, no, fuck that. We are bringing him back. Like, I don't care what any of you say. Like, I'll do it myself. I'm bringing him back.
Right.
And then
I mean,
Flash is like, oh, he was my favorite. He was my hero. Like, he's eager to do it. Aquaman's like, dude, this is fucking crazy. We should not be doing this.
Yeah,
Diana's like, she's pragmatic about it. She's like, we probably can't fucking win without him, But everybody's got their, and obviously Victor's kind of the one who's like, you could bring him back, But I don't know. I just like that each of them has their own interpretation of what the plan is and whether or not they should be doing it.
Like it works. I'm just saying, like it's just still so weird that the Justice League has to dig up Superman's body.
Yeah.
Like, it's
especially because BVS gives you that tease of the dirt moving on the coffin already,
right?
Already letting you know that he might not be dead, right?
Right.
So Zack Snyder had something in mind that I think he didn't even act on himself when the script was coming together for Justice League. But
because technically it's supposed to be just the sun. The sun is his power. You get him in some sunlight and bam.
And it happens in Batman vs Superman. Like there's literally the scene of him basically dead in space, and then the sun rays hit him, and now rejuvenates. And so, again, they had all the seeds were there to do it not as creepily as they did it. Because you have like that whole after the exhuming scene, I feel like I'm in like a Tarantino movie as they all load into the car to drive his body and execute their scheme like it's Ocean's 11 by wheeling it into the pool of.
They're doing the slow mo walk away to Miser Lou.
Yeah, I'm like, what the fuck is this?
Yep.
See, and that again, it goes back to the point that I say with the Batman, it just it drives home how bad, how crazy, how blind he was going to be to make this thing happen. I love Ben Affleck as Batman anyway. So
I go back to an earlier point I made, Duggan, about I love that he pays for Clark's funeral because he knows Martha's poor, then lets her lose her house anyways. He feels so bad, he lets his mom go bankrupt anyways.
Yeah,
maybe he let Martian Manhunter go bankrupt.
Oh,
I don't know. This chapter does have one of my favorite lines though in the movie, and that's when Alfred is saying arguing with him, Bruce, about the decision to bring him back, and he's like, if you can't take down the charging bull, don't wave the red cape at it, and then he says, this you do when it's this red cape because this red cape charges back. And I don't know. I thought that line was sick. I was like, "Oh man, I can't wait for fucking Superman to come back." But
I love how Alfred did all the detective work in this. Not Bruce Wayne. It
makes all the
gear. Makes the gear. Fucking does the detective work, and
he still has time to buttle.
Yeah.
He still has time to put the T on. Bruce Wayne does splash money around.
The scene between him and Diana with the tea making was awesome.
Yeah.
Though. That was a good comedic scene. That was a nice natural comedic scene that it had nothing to do with this dark humor. It was just funny, and I really liked that scene. I was laughing.
Right.
Yeah.
And you know what this version did that I thought was funny is they had the photo of Jonathan Kent in the water in the Justice League one. And I was like, why the fuck do they even like what are we zooming in on this photo for? Sinking in the water. And I realized that they do that so that they can show the time travel when it goes in reverse.
Yeah.
When he's like going so fast to hit it. But I do like that it sets up a later scene though where he goes, you know, when I get moving too fast, weird things happen with time. Which was it was a nice nod to what was coming. But that's pretty. They bring Superman back to life.
Yeah,
they fight him.
This also like Cyborg has the vision of like the future of like what happened because like the Kryptonian computer just like tells them like gives them the warning of what's going to happen, and you see like Wonder Woman dead and she's on like the funeral pyre. You see
the Atlanteans getting hit with the fucking the
Omega beams.
The Omega beams, yeah. And
then you see like Superman, like you see like I'm going to guess it's the Hall of Justice because it said Justice League.
Yeah.
And you see like a dead version of you see Kilowog, the Green Lantern, he's dead, and like Superman's like killed everybody.
Was that where he's holding the corpse of what you assume is Lois Lane, like charred up, and then Darkseid puts his hands on his So yeah, that's like the premonition of like of the anti-life equation, like controlling Superman.
Yeah,
right.
So, but it was it was awesome. I liked it. But yeah, so they bring him back to life, and the scene happens where they all fight each other. It's definitely a little more brutal, which I liked. I liked that Superman was literally trying to fucking blast through Batman. And he was like,
funniest things happened during that fight scene. It was a 3 versus 1. And then Barry he starts running, and right out of he just peers out of the side of his eye, and he sees him running and makes eye contact. I was pissing myself laughing. I thought that was so funny. And then the whole time he's trying to bob and weave, and he's so clumsy. He ends up, he taps himself down. But I thought that whole scene was fucking hilarious. I love that.
Superman fucking bashes Wonder Woman, I'm like, oh fuck it, like just like the impact on that.
Yeah,
when he headbutts
they headbutt each other.
Aquaman, I think, is the first one to get hit though. Aquaman like dives in, or maybe I think Cyborg gets hit with the heat vision. But when Aquaman like just jumps in, and he didn't want to do this at all, you see Superman just hit him. He just vanishes into the back of the distance.
That's the Justice League version when he's like, we shouldn't have done this, like because like in that one he's like freaking out.
He's like,
but in this
one,
he's
wrong with him. He's not.
Yeah,
right.
like that's in the original, but like in this one, he's just like calm. He's just like, I got this.
I love the Cyborg though.
Let me just try to hit him with my trident.
I love Cyborg being like, I can't control this. I'm in self-defense mode. Just
all of defense.
Right. I love that they got rid of that stupid Batman quip from Justice League. When he gets hit into the police car, he's like, oh, something's bleeding. And like, this doesn't sound like Batman. Batman would never say that.
They do, like, the one thing I guess it was the Whedon thing, was he does have like the backup plan with Lois, just in case, which was like another good like Batman thing to do.
Although I thought Batman kind of sounded like a bitch when he was like kind of pressed up against the car. He's like, "We need you." He's like, "Please, we need you."
Yeah,
I need you in my life.
Yeah, no.
Come on.
Well, I mean, what would you do? He wasn't prepared for this fight against Superman. It wasn't like BVS where he's like, all I want to do is kill this motherfucker, and I'm gonna do it with kryptonite. But
do we know, like, if that photo of Jonathan Kent had any impact on Superman's like rejuvenation?
No. It was just like in his hand when he was like in his coffin. So
also,
I found it interesting that both his fathers were talking in the ship, and that the picture was
they got new dialogue
right.
too.
Yeah. And the suit was black. I didn't know if that had anything. They all tied together or something.
That was one of my favorite parts. That was one of my favorite parts with the two fathers talking.
I like this too, but
even in the old Richard Donner movie, like the father talking to Superman it's always, I don't know, it's really powerful to me every time.
That's why I love it in Man of Steel. His first flight in Man of Steel is all dubbed over by
Jor-El.
Right. And I fucking love that. That's the kind of shit that works for me. Like, dude, give me that all day. But Nelly, what were you trying to say?
I was gonna say, like, if Batman was going to fucking wake up Superman, you don't think he would have like a backup plan. Like you'd be like, all right, we gotta get some like fucking kryptonite fucking missiles to fucking hit this guy with if this doesn't go fucking according to plan.
But this
I
is
feel like Batman's always got a fucking plan.
They wouldn't automatically assume he wouldn't know who he is. Although in the Justice League one, they mentioned, what if he's not who he is?
Yeah,
What
like
if
he
he's
has like
not-
the backup plan with Lois.
Right.
This is the dumb Batman though. That's from the BVS universe. That's like,
Yeah.
oh, Lex Luthor told me this is a bad guy, must kill. Meh. And so like, I believe he can be as stupid as possible.
I can't argue. You're right.
Yeah.
But I like that there's the threat level of once we activate this mother box, fucking Steppenwolf's coming for it, so we need to fucking be ready.
Yeah.
And the fact that they are like distracted with Superman, like that just makes it like when Joe Morton steals that fucking box and just runs inside with it, I was like, oh, you dumb son of a bitch. Like, you know who's coming for that.
I love how long it takes Steppenwolf to get there.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Wouldn't
that's
it contradict themselves
that's a
though? Because
solid
didn't
20
they say that Superman had to do with the boxes being like activated?
Yeah, his death. They said that his death activated, like the mother boxes were afraid
Right.
of him.
So if they didn't bring him back to life, would that third box necessarily activate?
Yeah,
Like,
it would because Steppenwolf could have activated it by getting it near the other ones.
Oh, gotcha.
But,
yeah, isn't it something to do with like when he arrives, like it's like the emergence of a new god, and so like when he dies, there's no gods left. Is essentially what they were saying.
Yeah,
It's some weird shit. Like this is where my DC gets a little bit weird about it because like so much god worship shit in there that I don't really enjoy as much. And in the comic book heroes, the way they write them, and so in this universe where they definitely do that god stuff a lot about these characters being gods, not just superheroes. Yeah, some weird shit with that I tune off a little bit when I start going.
yeah. It's a little unclear with the like how the technology of the mother boxes senses fucking Superman, but
Yeah. But plus, like,
Yeah, but
they
by that logic,
couldn't
when he
activate
wakes
before he
up-
came to Earth.
right.
Yeah.
Right. Well, maybe
Right.
exactly. That's a good point. But maybe they were so separated from each other that they never would have. And it was because I guess Joe Morton's. I keep saying Joe Morton, Victor Stone's dad.
He's
Miles.
activated a few times.
Miles
No.
Tyson. Miles
Yeah.
Tyson.
He activated one to bring Cyborg back. So you think that would have called out the fucking
Right.
to Steppenwolf,
Yeah.
but
Right.
I don't know.
Plot holes. Plot holes.
Yeah, there's definitely
Yeah.
plot holes, but
You know what was
I thought-
weird too?
sorry.
Is in the laboratory, right? When the Dementor goes to try to find that box and it was empty. You have a janitor in this multi-million, scientific laboratory, and he's mopping the floor with a fucking mop. And so, but then even better though is that the thing flies through the roof with no activation of any alarm. But yet later in the movie, when Steppenwolf flies in through the roof, the alarm activates. So you're like, what the fuck's going on here? I don't understand what's happening.
Well, they
And
had
that
to change. They had to change their systems to include people breaking it through the ceiling.
yeah, I guess so.
What else happens in that scene? There's a lot. So some of the stuff on the Kent farm I liked. I know you don't, Dave. I know you don't like his portrayal of Clark at all. But there's a couple shots that really work for me. I'm unabashed.
Like
Man of Steel is one of my favorite superhero movies ever. So when they do the callback to the, I'm sorry, but when they do the callback to that swing, just like in the yard where Jonathan Kent had conversations with Clark, like I don't know, that fucking worked for me a lot. And like Martha Kent coming back and seeing her son alive, I liked a lot of it. And
that's good. I like the fact that they used the dialogue from like I think it was like the last trailer before the movie came out, where it was like, I can see you. I'll take that as a yes when he's referring to her wearing the wedding ring.
Yes.
Yeah, that was good.
And that was like completely cut out of the movie when it first came out. So
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff like that.
Man of Steel is a hot piece of whatever. I don't want to get into it, but I mean, I can't. There's nothing good I have to say about that movie. But again, there's this like brooding threat level behind Superman in like the whole Zack Snyder retelling about Superman that just pisses me off along the lines like that. He goes the extra mile of having a good Jonathan Kent, of showing how the Kents like raise him. But when push comes to shove, he's like, "Fuck this! I'm an alien. I do what I want." Like you don't ever see those morals pass into the character, and so like the whole, I just it drives me crazy. I hate
At some
his
point, he's
treatment
going
of
to try to stem
Superman.
that, though.
Like, I think it would have been nice if we had like one more Superman movie before like BVS and Justice League. I think had that movie, had Man of Steel 2 came out at some point, like I feel like that would have helped it a bit more with that character.
And Henry Cavill is a great Superman. That's the thing that that also pisses me off is you have like the perfect actor for the role, and they just give him like hot garbage because he has like no good dialogue in any of the fucking movies, and like just. Ugh.
You didn't like.
I feel like he knows it too, because like in like interviews, he's always just like, I really want to do like the classic comic book Superman.
He's like, if anyone's listening, I'm willing to do the classic Superman story.
Well, now he's walked too, so like there goes that chance.
Yeah.
Well, he hasn't officially said he's walked.
I thought he did. No, I thought it's over.
No, because he's still pinged. He's still pinged to show up in other DC movies. So I think you'll see him in like Shazam and maybe even the Flash movie if they make it, because it's supposed to deal with the multiverse. So
is Geralt the Rivera?
Like there's always I think
he's gonna
like,
be Jor-El to the new Superman.
Yeah.
There's like the talk of like Black Adam as well. Like I remember him and The Rock were like together in some photo. It seemed like they were like talking about something.
Yeah.
When the hell is Black Adam going to be done? That movie's like been in production for like 6 years or something.
They just hired Pierce Brosnan to be Dr. Fate.
Yes.
So that's Duggan.
Like I like that.
Duggan's like, I have no idea who that is.
Pierce Brosnan?
No, Pierce Dr.
James
Fate.
Bond.
Yeah. So he's going to be in Black Adam. All right, let's get on to the last chapter of this.
Snowfire.
So part 6 is something darker, where that's where
the black suit comes in.
Yeah, the black suit comes in. Something darker. Basically, assault happens on Steppenwolf's stronghold. That's where the Justice League goes all out. Great fight scenes. I like that Batman was pretty much just like, I'm just gonna take out the parademons because I have no way of helping you guys in this fight.
Right.
Yeah.
And even then, he's woefully woeful. Look at it, like in the hand-to-hand combat. He's like, I got to get back in the plane.
Yeah, but he does a good job though, and I thought he
takes out the infantry.
Yeah, he does, and then he's like helping Barry with his story. I like that Barry had something to do. He wasn't just like pushing a Russian family to safety.
I'm so glad they cut that family out of it. I'm so glad that family doesn't exist in this version.
The family who's protected the whole movie because the parademons can't kick in a fucking door.
Yeah, so bad.
Plus, it helps the fact that they're like the radiation is still there, so everyone's gone.
It was evaporated.
Well, in this movie, it's Chernobyl, and
it's like supposed to be like Chernobyl, like but they don't say it's Chernobyl.
It is Chernobyl. It's Pripyat. The first.
Oh, it does say it's Chernobyl.
Yeah, the first scene you see the power plant in the background when they first go there. But in
I know
it's a power plant, but like they don't like they never said it's Chernobyl.
I think you meant to assume it's Chernobyl, but I don't know if they actually say the word.
Or something.
Yeah. What do they call it again?
It starts with a K. It's like Kostrikov. Diana says
it. So this is pretty cool. The fight scenes were good. Definitely you can see this is where more than anything you could see the Joss Whedon cuts. Like there are things that happen that are just like gruesome that are cut out, where like all of a sudden you see Steppenwolf like swinging at somebody, and then it cuts to the person getting like tossed back, like, and none of that was in this movie. Like,
and then do
you think
you live with the characters during the fight?
Do you think that's a Joss Whedon cut or a sacrifice to be PG-13? Because like I hate to blame Joss Whedon for that one, where I think that's an MAA problem. Because like when they made it rated R, you get to actually see the hammer blows, right? But like when they go to PG-13, I don't think it would have mattered if it was Snyder or if it was Whedon.
Yeah, you might
to give Whedon one free pass on something in this movie.
No.
But that's the only one I'm going to give him, is that like I think that's if you're going for that PG-13 rating, those are the types of things you have to do.
Yeah, you might be right. But then so they're fighting them, and they're holding their own a bit, but they obviously that Superman's going to come back and really turn the tide on the fight. I do not like the Superman line when he gets hit with the axe and he goes, "Not impressed." Like that just is not a very good line at all. Like I don't know. Like even in the Joss Whedon version, he's like because he goes like, "I'll show you the truth." He goes, "I'm a big fan of truth and justice," and like that's a Superman line, you know?
Yeah.
Like, so
I wanted the Superman presence from the Whedon cut with the Snyder action.
Yes.
Like I feel like that was, like you just said it yourself. The lines make more sense. The hope in like his eyes make more sense. This is just like a beating machine, like where he's relentlessly bashing Steppenwolf because he just looks like he's having pleasure and fun.
You're right.
He's like, how many times did I punch
He
you?
feels like I was given a second chance.
Yeah.
And Diana's like, yeah, hit him.
Yeah, exactly.
That's like, it's true. You're right.
Yeah.
It's almost like I'm given a second chance. I'm not gonna waste it. Like it'd be almost like if he shows up, it's almost like, hey, you going a little hard on this guy? And he's like, dude, fuck that. I'm not dying again. Like, I'm beating this motherfucker down. And he does, like, honestly, Steppenwolf, as you should. Like, this whole movie's predicated on, like, these guys not being able to beat Steppenwolf on their own. That when Superman shows up, it should be like, you're fucking toast. Like, this, you're not going to even touch me.
Right.
Like, you know, but I don't know. It's, when he does the heat vision, it cuts his horn off. I was like, oh my God, that's pretty.
I thought that was like worse than the Zod neck snapping, because at least he was trying to not like help people from getting from like kill some civilians, but like it's just like a level of brutality you just don't expect out of Superman for no reason.
Right, and it's like one thing to like hit him with the heat vision and like have him be like, I'm fucked, like, but like literally you got him on the ground, you just keep bashing him, and you're like, you know what, fuck you. There goes your fucking headpiece.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Just cuts it off with the laser.
I'm not even gonna even you out. You're gonna have neck problems for the rest of your life, motherfucker.
And when it cuts back, this is the best, because like you think maybe that would cauterize, but when it cuts back, you see like a pool of blood on the ground underneath Steppenwolf's head.
He gets his other one cut off anyway, so fuck it.
Yeah, later, you're right. But the
all I could think about was fucking the Tenacious D movie when he's like, "Oh, my fucking horn!"
Yeah.
He lost all his power. Yeah, and I like so Barry's plot line here is that obviously that he needs to get enough speed that he can launch Victor into the mother box, which it was in, that scene inside the mother box was really kind of cool to like round out his story. But obviously that gets all.
Flash getting shot is so fucking bullshit by that. Like what the fuck? That out of all the things that you get that the thing is just aiming. All right, yeah, I'm just gonna take this one shot and it's gonna hit him. Like no fucking chance.
Well, it's not like he was tracking him. He just kept shooting in the same spot until hoping to hit him. But I saw this is my favorite thing. One of the podcasts I was following was like, all I know is every stormtrooper in Star Wars watched this scene and stood up and was like, yeah, fucking Parademon. That fucking Doug the Parademon got him.
So Doug the Parademon.
And then he gets his fucking head blown away by Batman. But
so
was,
I think
I like that scene.
So the way the Flash saves,
He runs back in time.
Right. So we were talking earlier about how kind of ridiculous the mother boxes bringing Superman back is, but it works with this ending. Because it shows it kind of ties back to showing how Barry manipulates time, like the picture of Jonathan Kent coming, and like you can see it going back, like it all ties in together with what he has to do at the end of the movie, with the mother boxes and with Cyborg. So it kind of serves a purpose when you look at it that way. I feel.
All I know is the scene with Barry coming back through and saving the day. That is my favorite scene in the entire movie.
It's the best
and it's honestly, that's in my top 5 favorite comic book scenes of all time. And that's across all comic book movies I've seen. I fucking loved it that much. The music, the look. I mean, the style of the world coming back together behind him. It was amazing.
You see Superman's flesh like slowly being put back onto his bones.
Cyborgs.
Oh my God! Fuck. Like it was awesome.
And he's like telling his dad, "I'm the best of the best." Stuff like that.
Yeah, that was pretty
Dude, it was.
And honestly, the whole Doug the Parademon joke that you just made, the whole time I'm watching it, like they had just got him shot so they could have this scene, and I was completely distracted by that the whole time and had none of those emotions.
Oh my God.
I was like, oh great. So the whole reason we got him shot is just to make him travel back in time for no reason, where the movie could have been 5 minutes shorter.
See, I would
the
have.
second time he gets shot too.
I would have, even in Whedon's cut of this movie, I would have kept that scene in there because I think that not only do you have the Flash like doing something that is heroic in the movie, which he really matters.
Yeah,
dude, that I don't know. To me, that scene was fucking perfect. I loved it, and like I said, it's in one of my top 5 favorite comic book movie scenes of all time. 100%. I love it. And I thought it was so good. I've listened to the fucking score for the movie multiple times, and that song and then the main theme I've gone back to like at least 1,000 times since the movie just to keep listening to it. Everything worked for me. Everything worked for me.
It gives him the boost to be able to do something with his life other than what he's been doing. Like it's just
I do think Ezra Miller needs to take some kind of a running class or something because he runs like an idiot, but like maybe because he's moving so fast it makes him look stupid, but no.
Yeah,
I think he's going to need to take some other classes too. More about what's going on with him.
Yeah. You haven't heard a peep about that thing at all. So I almost wonder if it was staged, but again, that's my hopeful comic book side coming through because I want to see the movie.
If I were Ezra Miller, I would have been pissed off too and went and fucking started slapping people because, like, if I went to Justice League, Joss Whedon League or whatever the fuck, and I saw what they did to my character, I would have been like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" Like,
you cut out my big moment.
Tortured his fucking character. And same with fucking Cyborg, dude. He might as well not have been in the movie at all.
It's like fucking Beast Boy. What the fuck?
Yeah. So they save. So yeah. He comes back in time, saves the day, kicks it to the inside the mother boxes. Cyborg's got that great exchange where he says, "I'm not broken and I'm not alone." Tears it open. I like that he says, "Superman, help!" Like I don't know why. Like using the actual characters' names instead of being like Clark.
He doesn't know Clark. He's not on those terms yet.
No, I know, but he dug up his body. He saw the fucking tombstone. So like. I don't know. I
don't know if that gets you Clark privileges. You know, exhuming me and bringing me back to life. You don't get first name privileges for making me have to be back alive.
Superman help would have been great, but
we didn't talk about the awkward scene they didn't have in this one between Bruce Wayne and Diana in the Justice League, where he's basically getting in her face about Steve Trevor. It's like, you, what have you been doing? You've been hiding all these years, but even though clearly, like Wonder Woman 1984 happened, and she's been out in the open plenty, but like that, they got rid of that completely and it replaced it by like a little. They went to touch the same thing on a desk, and they.
He was thinking about a pee-pee.
Yeah.
But that scene just came to my. That scene literally just came to my mind. That fucking and she. I think she like pushes him, and he's like with. I don't know.
You should see the R-rated
done. Yeah. So they dispatch
Justice version.
They come back. They destroy the mother boxes. They dispatch Steppenwolf, which I love. I love that Aquaman just fucking like runs him through. Like Aquaman, like he's just like, "Fuck you, dude! You don't see me coming." Bam! Right. Like lifts him up. Soup hits him, and then they cut to that stupid fucking Wonder Woman music again when she cuts the head off. Like, it didn't need to be there. It didn't add to anything. You just have her jump up and cut his head off.
In your life.
They could have done a slower version of the cello thing.
I mean, I think just the score of
the only thing that defines her fighting sequence is that.
Yeah, it was bad.
You know what I was waiting for was like the Norse women to come out and start singing that freaking
that was
like
my
song
favorite
again, the
part of the
Viking
whole movie.
song.
Wait, on the other
culture in my life.
wait, who the fuck is the Jane Lynch looking motherfucker lady on the other side of
That's
the portal?
Granny Goodness.
Yeah.
That's another thing I don't get is like, why do you have Desaad and Steppenwolf be monster-like creatures, but like you don't do that to Granny Goodness.
Well,
Who
Granny
the fuck?
Goodness.
That's a real person.
Granny
Yeah.
Goodness
That
is
name up?
huge, though. She's like as big as them, so she's like a big human.
Granny Smith.
Yeah, so like it just
Gwendolyn
doesn't make
Christie.
sense. Yeah, so like usually she's like a squat old woman, and like she's kind of like monstrous looking, but like whatever reason they went like regular, like they went more like an Amazonian type
Right.
person
Right.
with that character.
Maybe
no,
we'll
she
find out. Probably not.
Probably not.
Yeah,
You'll probably see her in the New Gods movie with that Ava DuVernay is doing with Tom King.
Yeah. So maybe we will. But yeah, so it was that's pretty much like wraps that up. I like the dialogue between Darkseid and Desaad. He's like, I told you Steppenwolf would fail. And he's like, yes, ready the armadas. We're fucking going for these motherfuckers. And then I liked all that. Obviously, a setup for a movie we're probably not going to get, but I liked it. And then the Justice League goes their separate ways, and you see them all doing different Justice League things. I liked it. I don't know. I thought the final scenes were pretty good. I really didn't have any complaints about it other than Wonder Woman's music playing.
Yeah, I mean,
I kept imagining like an opera singer, like it like tilting the camera to an opera singer behind her, just going.
Need the limitation. I'm telling you.
Oh.
Are we doing the epilogue now?
Yeah, I was just happy it was over.
And then you got the epilogue.
Yes.
Like I enjoyed the movie. Don't get me wrong, but I was like, this needs to be done. Let's be done. The epilogue was interesting.
The epilogue could have been cut completely. The epilogue could have been cut completely.
Yeah, but like the same problem I have with the Whedon cut, Chris, is like why Bruce Wayne's having prophetic dreams.
Yo, does someone have like a monkey or something in the fucking background? Like, what the fuck is that?
I have a monkey, sir. Don't worry about it. He needs a banana.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the epilogue scene was cool. There's a lot of like stuff in there I liked. Again, setting up one of the possible future movies. I don't know if it would have been the third movie or the second movie that you would have seen more of that world. But I liked it. It was fun. A little bit of a redemption for Jared Leto's Joker. He was definitely better in this version, but he was I don't know.
He's fine.
I thought he was the same. He just looked different.
I agree with you, Chris.
I think he had a little more Joker and a little less like fucking crazy criminal, you know.
Well, he was more like toned down,
subdued,
but,
yeah.
Subdued, but I mean, he still had the Jim Carrey laugh.
Yeah.
Like it was interesting seeing like because like we have like like with that too is like we get like the weird like flat we get the weird CGI flash because I guess they couldn't get Ezra Miller to film it.
I was wondering why he didn't have any dialogue.
Oh yeah.
And then like we get two versions of Deathstroke where it's he knows he's Bruce Wayne just to set up the Ben Affleck Batman movie that's not happening.
I don't know. It was
here's my thing about the epilogue. Sorry, Chris. My thing about the epilogue is it just proves to me that this should be the last movie Zack Snyder does in this universe because it just looks like it's setting up BVS2, which fucking I will never see. Like I would like you couldn't pay me enough to watch Batman vs Superman 2, and that's what this feels like it's going to.
Because
why would that happen?
Well, think about it like this. So, in terms of Superman's character, you get Man of Steel, which isn't enough Superman. Then you get Batman. You go straight to BVS, where he dies, and then he's barely in Justice League, and then you get a fucking evil ass Superman in the next saga or whatever the fuck. Like, that's terrible. That is terrible.
Right. So I think the way that you would do it is in that next movie, you'd have to jump, which is not going to work, but you'd have to jump around timelines between what's going on in the future and what they're trying to stop from happening in the past.
Quentin Tarantino, boom.
But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it wouldn't work. I mean, I personally hope that they greenlight some form of sequel to this movie because I think this
Not going to happen.
I know, but it worked for me. It worked for me, and you can do it on HBO Max. You give him the full carte blanche to do whatever he wants to do again, and it's a big draw for HBO. So why wouldn't you try to pull the trigger if it's getting enough
I feel
traction?
like the problem with that is like I don't think you could do like a $300 million movie on HBO Max. Like it would have to be. It would have to cost less.
Yeah,
Right.
I agree. 300 million is probably. I mean, distribution wise, you don't have to worry about any of those costs. But
like it's just like you just think about it like all the actors are bigger now, right? Like you look at like Gal Gadot, you like just thinking about like all the stuff that's been. There's not even to mention like all the stuff that's going on in their personal lives, like with Amber Heard and Ezra Miller and Ray Fisher. Like, you got all that stuff,
right? Well, I mean, how much was the final season of Game of Thrones? 200 million.
I don't know, maybe
something like that. It was pretty expensive. So I'm
also,
wondering.
Yeah, but
it's also like 10 hours of content, right?
Even if that can come back to do another one, they're not getting the cast. So you'd have to recast half of it.
So you don't think in a world where we got the Snyder Cut because fans were clamoring for it, that we couldn't get a sequel to this movie?
Ben Affleck looked rough in his last scene. You could tell it was filmed like a month ago.
That was filmed recent. He's sober now.
Yeah, dude. He's
healthier now.
Great.
The scene, I thought it looked good too. The scene where we were talking to Martian Manhunter, he's a little slimmer. He wasn't fucking bloated. Yeah. I thought he looked awesome.
He's like tan.
Yeah.
He looks like he's stretched.
He's what Robert Pattinson wished he looked like.
I can't help but see us getting another Martha movie. That's my problem. Like dark Superman kills the world. Exactly. Lois. And it's fucking, or like it's Superman's kid that Batman's like trying to train to kill him because obviously you got to kill Superman in the movie. Like, I don't know. I have no confidence that he can write another movie. Even though this one worked out well, I just don't see it.
Like he didn't write it too. He just came up with a story. Like he has like a writer to come in and do everything.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I feel like that's like I was like looking at this today too. Like Zack Snyder didn't write Man of Steel, right? It was just Christopher Nolan and David S. Goyer.
David S. Goyer, yes.
And then like then it becomes the studio of like we want to try to get like a universe. So they do BVS and like it is Zack Snyder's story with I think it was like Chris Terrio who did it and he did this one as well. So I think it's very much like obviously like whatever you say about Man of Steel you can say, but like it's not like he directed it. It's not so much his story. He's doing someone else's story and like that's part of the universe that he ultimately envisions by incorporating Man of Steel.
Right. All right. Well, that's going to wrap up our production of the review of Zack Snyder's Justice League. Let's go around the horn here, guys. What do you rate this movie on a scale of 1 to 5? Duggan.
4.
4. Sweet. Crow.
4.
4. Nelly.
I'd probably say like a 3.
3. Dave.
Yeah, 3. I think 3 is a good one.
3. And Matt.
Yeah, like I'm like at a 3 as well. Like it's like a low 3. Like
yeah.
Like there's like so much of the length. Like
I mean, the original version was like a -1. So like
yeah, right.
That's a valid comparator.
I mean, I'm fine with the other one, but just because like at least like it wasn't as dire as BVS. Like I went out of that. When I left that original movie, I was just like, all right, I feel like they're going into a good direction where there's a little bit of hope in this world.
Yeah,
That's what they need.
Yeah.
This gets a 4 for me just because it's not Justice League. Like it's better enough where all right, 4 out of 5 is good.
Well, I give it a 4 too, so I guess that means our average score is a 3.5.
That's fair. It's fair. It's a fair score.
I don't think it deserves higher than a 3 because of the length. That's just really like as much as I enjoyed the movie, I just think it's
can you
just
use
too
that
long
as
and there's just too
can
much
you
noise.
use that? Can you use that as a critique when you knew
This
it was
was
that
better
long
than
going
BBS.
into it?
Well, you know what it is. Like when I see a movie this long, I want to make sure that it's things that I think add value. And I thought there was a lot of stuff that just didn't add value. There were scenes that were in there because they were filmed.
I want to point out that this isn't a normal thing. Like this is literally a vanity project, a special project that people asked for. Like this wasn't going to happen. This was specifically requested by fans. So a Zack Snyder cut will have everything Zack Snyder filmed. So it's not like
keep going.
So it's like it's just within this context that the 4 hours is okay. Like you know what I mean? Like it wouldn't work.
It wouldn't work.
Right, it wouldn't work in theaters. No. Like, but this isn't like, oh, it should like this was. You guys want it? Here's everything, and a little extra. There you go.
No, and that's a fair counterpoint. Yeah.
Like I would also say too, it's the studio saying we need something for HBO Max.
Yeah.
Because of this pandemic.
Mortal Kombat, so.
Now here's a question for everybody. If this seems like it's a success, so does this kick off a so and so's cut of this movie kind of craze where movies like Solo that had like rewrites and reshoots get like their cut? And another director
I think this was a one-off.
This is a one-off just because of the situation.
Yeah, we knew what happened, and we knew how trash and poo-poo this other one was. That I might even mention the name of it, but I feel like this is
like I think it's the circumstances of everything that happened with his family and like the way the studio treated him and like the big rise, the movement of the Snyder fans doing the restore the Snyder cut
or
release the Snyder cut,
right? Like you had Momoa, you had Momoa on record like really fast after the reception of the Justice League coming out saying, if you guys only saw what Zack Snyder had done or what he had shown me, it's just a different movie, or screen for me, it's just a different movie and it's so much better. And so having the actors do interviews and saying that got the fandom like hungry for it, right? And upward for it. And so there was PR, there was like a guerrilla PR for this that was happening that got this to happen. I don't think this is going to create a trend more than anything like that. We get director's cuts for things like, apparently if you're a Ben Affleck superhero movie, you get a director's cut, Daredevil and BVS.
BVS. Was Daredevil's director's cut any better?
Yep.
I'm told it makes the movie more coherent, but then I've never seen it because I saw the trailer with what's his nuts as Bullseye, and I'm like, nope, not in.
It has Coolio in the movie.
Nelly, he kills the woman on the plane with what?
Yeah, that's a bullshit question. The fucking peanut.
Nelly got that question wrong in movie trivia battles. All right, we're going to end this thing. We're just under 2 hours, which isn't too bad for a review of a 4-hour movie. Guys, thank you so much for doing this. I had a blast talking about this movie with you. I'm glad you guys all gave it 5 out of 5, and we will see you guys on another episode of Geek Babble soon, hopefully. Bye.
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 Bye.